And recording. Hey everybody and welcome! It is episode 42 of the Addicted to Loot podcast, and good news, I am no longer alone. Tom is back and he has brought friends. He has brought with him ScalySquash50. Say hello to the people.
Hi.
Wherever she is on the stream.
She's to your right. You're right, I think. You're right. Over there. But thank you all and welcome. Thank you for those watching live on Twitch, and thank you for those people listening in the future in our audio. So, Tom has returned from the Great White North, and he has brought with him some people. So, Scaly, tell the people who are you? What do you do? What things do you do? All those fun things.
It's a lot of pressure. So I am ScalySquash50. I am a Twitch and Beam streamer occasionally. Play video games for fun. And I do a few tabletop games that get streamed as well.
One of those tabletop games. I wonder if those were like one of those tabletop games like Rollout, one of the ones that we've constantly been shouting out to on this cast.
Yes.
And what do you do the Dragon Age, but which other ones do you do on there as well?
I do the Eberron, which is a Dungeons and Dragons, which is actually the first.
Oh, okay, awesome. And that's your first, or that's Rollout's first?
Both.
Okay.
Rollout started with the Dungeons and Dragons, and it was my very first time ever doing like a tabletop RP. First time ever playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow!
And ever making a character.
Oh, that's awesome. So are you guys doing like Dragon Age 5e, or which version are you guys doing?
Yes, I believe
Dungeons and Dragons.
The newest version.
Yeah, okay. So what was it like actually getting into a tabletop RP for the first time?
I was terrified, like right out the gate. It was made a lot easier in that, so none of us in the group knew each other outside of, I think, maybe our GM and like one other person outside of streaming. It was just the GM met us online and was like, hey, you seem like not terrible people. How would you like to do a thing? And I kid you not, that was basically how it was broached. And so we all got in a Facebook chat together to see if we'd actually get along. And it turned out that we're like best friends now.
It's extremely compatible. Yeah, because I mean, you guys are very entertaining to watch. I mean, it's so natural. I would have thought that you guys would have been doing it for like years. I mean, it's really great to watch.
In the Dragon Age one,
I agree. Like I thought, like, oh wow, look at this group of pros. Wow, this must be their most recent adventure.
We actually, when you first said that, we laughed so long at the thought that someone could actually think we were professionals. Because in that group, none of us were. We were all first times. In the Dragon Age one, there's one other person who is a seasoned RPer, but the rest of us are totally novices.
So, since you played Dungeons and Dragons and Dragon Age, like, do you like one more? Are they just different? I mean, I know or at least Dungeons and Dragons, because I have experience with a few of the editions. 5e is a little bit easier to swallow compared to the earlier editions.
Yes.
But I'm curious because the Dragon Age has very interesting kind of skill layout as well as like a dice rolling layout.
Yeah. I mean, so far as mechanics go, certainly the Dragon Age one's a lot easier to pick up because there's 3 dice. Like literally, it's just
at any given time.
It's a D6. Yeah, there's just 3 D6, and one's a different color, which is the dragon dice. So like mechanically, like it's a lot easier to understand. I think the Dungeons and Dragons one can be a bit more interesting, but then like the Dragon Age one has things about it that make it kind of cool too. Like, it's just kind of, I don't necessarily think that there's one that's better than the other. I think for me, as someone who came into it as a huge Bioware fan and a huge Dragon Age fan, you start off kind of already really knowledgeable about the universe and kind of like how you want your character to fit into that universe, and it makes it easier to get into it. Whereas with the Dungeons and Dragons one, it was my first character, and I was very new to it, and so it's taken longer to really feel connected to that character and kind of connected to that world as it did with the Dragon Age one.
So did you play like Dragon Age Origins, like the original Dragon Age 2 and all that?
I did. Not initially though. I actually started with Inquisition.
Really? And you went back to play with the other ones?
Because I loved them and I wanted to find out.
I'm surprised, because I don't know if I would be able to go back if I played Inquisition first. Like, I love the first one. We've been over this numerous times. Like, the first one's one of my favorite ones. So I'm curious, does your character in the RP relate to any of your other Dragon Age characters?
No.
Okay, so this is like your first mage and everything else?
Well, no, I mean, I played as mage characters before. I never really got into mage characters.
Okay.
In fact, after creating my role-playing character, I went back and created a mage character in Origins. And like based it off of, but I guess like to me, the biggest difference is that in every Dragon Age game, you have like this dramatic backstory. And I specifically did not want that for my character in the rollout game. I wanted she's just an average person, like an average life. Nothing dramatic happened prior to this. No great catastrophes shaped who she is as a person. Because I felt like that's more, I don't know.
Like, that's more work than it sounds, because
she's just
it's more work than it sounds to create someone that's not dramatic, because it's like, then you're coming out of the gate and it's like, oh, I'm just experiencing things as a person, as a general person. Dead parents.
Tom, you're a little bit cutting out in between there, so just to let you know. But
that's all right. I'll go back to just nodding.
I don't know why it's fading in and out. So, hold on 1 second. I could try. Oh well, hold on. Something's happening on my end as well. This meeting is no time of. Okay, great, awesome. So technical difficulties, real quick. Okay, so let's see if that helps. But anyway, so you also said, wow, that horrifically changed my camera. But so you also said that you did a little bit of streaming before this, and I know some technical difficulties has prevented you from streaming recently. And by the way, kids, little technical PSA, make sure you always have a surge protector and a surge protector for your surge protector.
Yeah, well, a good tip, get surge protectors that show you when they've been fried.
Yeah, that's definitely...
The little light that pops up, that's a really useful feature that they don't all have.
I may or may not have to check mine.
And it turns out 3 surges in a row is enough to fry your PC.
Yeah, I could only imagine that. Like, that's terrible. Something that's like, it's like one of a PC gamer's worst nightmare is to like one day be playing and then one day it just why are you dead? Like, just, it just doesn't respond. It
was 2 minutes into a donated copy of Overwatch PC.
Oh, wow.
They wanted me to play on PC. And it was 2 minutes in, and she just...
Wow.
She bit the dust.
So that
kitchen stank of fried electrical, like...
Oh, that's...
Oh, God.
And that was from the extension cord, because we'd had it, like, different things plugged in, different things, trying to avoid exactly that. No.
Oh, that's such a shame. Oh, that's...
Monitor, an HDMI connector on the other monitor, a mouse, an Elgato capture card.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that is such a shame.
The mouse was the real loss, though. That was...
Well, I believe it.
It was a Walmart mouse.
But it was one... But it made sense, because I don't know. I feel like if I changed any minor component on my rig, that I'd feel like horrifically out of place, because it's like I know what my mouse feels like, I know how my keyboard feels like. So playing any game without them, I feel like would be really weird.
No, it is.
So what games did you stream, or what got you into streaming?
So I feel like I kind of went about getting into streaming the exact opposite of like every other streamer I've ever spoken to. I didn't know anything about it before starting up. Had no interest in it. I thought you'd have to be an idiot to want to watch me play a video game. I had no interest in watching someone else play a video game.
Who would do that kind of shit?
Well, it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, if I want to play a video game, I want to play the video game. I'm not going to watch someone like why?
Welcome to Twitch.
And my husband was like, well, you're going to be home alone in this new town that we're living in, and it's devoid of anything, and so you need something to do, and I think you'd be good at this. I was like, you're high, but sure, why not? It's fine. Because I just started on my Xbox. I had a Kinect and my Xbox, and I just used the Twitch app on there.
Oh, wow.
And I started with, oh my goodness, first game I ever streamed was Recore.
Really?
Recore.
Because the idea was that, like, we'd done some research into getting into streaming and, like, how to start. And one of the things was you don't want to get into, like, you don't want to be the millionth Dota 2 streamer, or the millionth like League of Legends streamer. Like you're never gonna that way. But you also don't want to be doing the game that nobody is watching ever.
Yeah, so, that's weird, because actually because we're trying to get our Twitch off the ground, obviously outside of the podcast, and I was doing the same thing. I've been reading like tons of articles on like exactly like how do you pick out the perfect game, or what is the perfect game? It's like, well, if you pick a real popular game, you have to do something that sticks out. So I'm like, well, obviously that's not going to happen. So it's just like, so then like, oh, well, I'll just play this little tiny dinky game that I just love playing. It's like, well, then no one's going to look for you. So it's like, it's this weird balance that I feel like you just magically have to strike gold somewhere. You know,
I think a lot comes down to your personality too.
Oh yeah, because I feel like, or at least from what I read, it seemed like there seems to be 3 consistent themes to success. Like either you have a personality that stands out that people just want to like hang out with you.
Yeah.
Or you're like the most skilled person or an extremely like great multiplayer. Like you're just someone that people like watching you because you just own people. Or like I'm trying. Oh, what the hell was the other one?
The one I saw was you have to be you're either the best, you're funny, or you're empathetic.
Basically, yeah, it's like something along those lines, and then sometimes you're the magical combination of all 3. And I feel like
not all 3.
well, because like you see people like most people I know that are like real big streamers for real popular games are usually like they're already like professional esports players in them, and they just like, well, screw it, I'm going to practice anyway. I might as well just broadcast. But it's interesting to try to get into it purely just from the fact of, hey, I like playing games. I'm going to be playing them anyway. Let's just see if I can hang out with some people as I do it.
See, the reason why I don't really get into streaming that much is because largely because I play games at erratic times, like it'll be 2:00 in the morning, and I don't know. I don't feel like I'm entertaining. Like I get so into the world, like especially with something like a big RPG. And I'm like, oh wow, I want to spend 20 minutes like taking the perfect screenshot of this plant. Like, I can't imagine a lot of people probably want to watch that. Like,
I think at that point though,
I don't know.
Like, because for me it was the thing that made me like successful when I was doing it. I actually had someone come into my stream the second or third day I was streaming, and I was streaming to no one. I kid you not. And we brought this up later once I was doing well. He came in and started talking to me because he felt bad for me. Because I was sitting there talking the entire time just about stuff. And because that's how you do it. Is someone will pop in for 5 seconds. And if you're not engaging, they're gone. And he said he felt really bad. So he stayed and he hung out. And then he kept coming back every day and talking with me every day. And then he started giving me tips on other games I should try. And we literally like went through my ridiculously extensive library of games. And he was like, oh yeah, let's do Rise. I haven't seen Rise Son of Rome. And I'm like, yeah, that's a super fun game. I'd love to show it to you. And then he was like, you should start doing Destiny. Because like you say you like Destiny.
Oh, Destiny's amazing. I love Destiny.
And then he was like, you really need to do Minecraft. And I was like, nobody wants to see me suck at Minecraft. And he's like, everybody wants to see you suck at Minecraft. And he was right. Destiny was okay, but Minecraft like exploded. To the point of like,
and see, like, and that's funny, Tom. Like, that's a good thing to bring up because I feel like, to me, for you, like, I know I could sit there and watch you play games because I've done it before. I've sat on that couch behind him and done it. I mean, I've literally sat there numerous times and watched him do it. But I think because it's weird to think like sometimes like you know some streamers like some of my favorite streamers, some of them are just hilarious. They talk constantly, they mess up constantly. And they're so lighthearted. It's you just kind of watch them. Exactly. So, but there's other streamers I watch that are very, very detailed, technical, cerebral. They get very much into the game. They'll sit there and read every single leaflet and everything else. And it's just like I feed off of their enjoyment for those little details. Because me personally, like, there's times where if I get too bored, I will skip over like a codex or something because I'm like, I don't want to sit here and read all this. Just give me something that I want to play. But if someone else is sitting there reading it to me in like some stupid little voice, I'm like, oh, I like this now, hooray! I'm like a little kid with like keys dangling in front of me.
Well, it's like it's so. Again, my problem is I feel like my stuff is so specific to me. Like, okay, like Dragon Age, great example. Inquisition. I went into Inquisition with the most detailed ass backstory that you could possibly have. Like, my Inquisitor was the illegitimate son of my Grey Warden and Isabella, and I tried everything I could to tweak every little bit of dialogue and stuff to make that work. And Scaly, you don't you might not know this, but with every fantasy game, if I play the same character, and this is across everything, tabletop, video game, whatever, if I play the same character, it has to make sense. This is my own little quirk, that character would be in that world. Like, my Dragon Age Origins character had to segue into being in Skyrim, had to segue into being in Champions of Norath or any MMO I've played him in. And so I've had to find little, like, in-between stories or ways. So the way I made everything work out with my Inquisitor being my warden's son, it was like, okay, I have to suspend a little bit of disbelief here. But then I'd read a certain, like, codex entry. I'd be like, oh my God, that verifies it, and I'm just, like, reading between the lines. But that's, again, super specific to me.
Very
specific. Like, incredibly specific. And so I'd be playing the game and it's just like, yep, absolutely, confirmed, like, and I don't know. I don't play, sometimes I'll play games especially if I know that people are watching, I try to amp up the funny, just like, oh my God, I'm going to do this because it's ridiculous. But if I was playing myself, I'd never do it because it'd put my fucking character's life in danger or something like that. But
I'll never forget.
I don't know.
It's probably, I think, my like followers' favorite moment I've ever streamed. I was playing Skyrim, which is like my jam. Like, that game consumed me, mind, body, and soul.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
When it first came out, and when it came out, like, remastered.
Easily the most hours I've played.
Just stupid. It was the reason we first got a custom PC. My husband built me, when we were just dating, a custom, like, he built it himself, PC, so that I could play modded Skyrim, because I'd never done modding before, and he thought it was something I'd like. And,
yeah, no, definitely.
But I was playing it and streaming it, and I'd forgotten what shout I had equipped, because I'd gone up to the dudes up top, and they made me put on that sprint shout, and I was fighting this. I can't even remember what they're called, but the nasty dudes with the masks that you collect. Help me.
Oh, the Dragon Priest?
Oh, Dragon Priest, thank you. So it was this epic fight. It was such a slog. I was so close, and he was just getting too close to me, and I was like, I'll just push him back. His Unrelenting Force is always the one I have equipped. No, I had Whirlwind Sprint, and I Whirlwind Sprinted right off a cliff and died.
Of course you did, because why wouldn't you?
Oh my God.
And people freaking...
That's awesome.
And like that, like, moment of, I'm almost in tears laughing but crying, because like it was so much time wasted, and like everybody's
that's hilarious.
Like, that's like to me, that's a moment that you're just sharing with friends, and they happen to be viewers.
Right. That's and
cool.
Actually, like, Brian, there have been hundreds of times, like 10 years ago back in high school, we're hanging out, we're playing a game, and something ridiculous happens, you just start cracking up. Ages ago.
Yeah, we're old. We know this. We accepted it.
Graduated 9 years ago, Brian.
Oh God, shut up.
But like playing like Tony Hawk games.
Cause like, wait, how long ago is that?
Yeah, honestly, like 10 years ago, we were juniors in high school, about to end the junior year. So
yeah, just about. Oh crap! Yeah, you're right. No, you're 100% right. But yeah, exactly. We would sit down on Tom's couch, would put in Tony Hawk.
That little bit of existentialism aside.
Yeah, we'd pop in American Wasteland, right? American Wasteland, and we would just sit there, just grinding our cares away, literally grinding our cares away.
See, I feel like I've missed out so much, because like I was so late to the game. Like, I played on my friend's Nintendo 64, and I had a PlayStation 2, and I played Sly the Raccoon.
Yep.
Sly.
Sly Cooper, absolutely.
Sly Cooper. I remember playing that purely just from on a trial disc in a Walmart somewhere.
Yes, I had the same. That
was my entire experience.
Demo.
I'm just like, meh.
I played the crap out of that game. Loved it. Also had Inuyasha, which was a video game on PlayStation 2. In case you were wondering, it existed and it was amazing. It was exactly what you'd expect from it.
I didn't know that.
Oh, spectacular. And then from there until I was in university, I didn't play a single game, because I'd had like a bad experience with an ex who just like put me right off anything, and I didn't want to touch it. So for people wanting to get their significant other into video games, my husband has coined a surefire way to do it.
Oh boy.
He started with Fable 2.
Okay, I can see that. Fable's a good game. Fable is a really good game.
So Fable 2, I loved, because I liked I liked that kind of universe, and I liked reading that sort of thing, and I love our role-playing games. I didn't even know I loved them until I played it, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm in love with this. So then went Fable 2, Fable 3, Mass Effect 2 was my first intro into shooters, which was like a gentle introduction to shooters, and then Skyrim for like an intense RPG, and then into Halo 1 actually, because he wanted something really easy and just like pure shooter, but not like overwhelmingly difficult. So Halo 1, Halo 2, and then we went right into like Destiny, and
oh my god,
I never looked back.
Are you excited for Destiny 2?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
I mean, I already bought it. So
we didn't pre-order this time.
Brian pre-ordered it.
We bought like the exclusive, like the Destiny 1, like the major, like all the DLCs when they first came out. Like
the big season pass.
And it was like this. A lot of the DLCs were kind of disappointing. It was a great game, and I feel like people overhyped it in their minds and made it into something that it just physically was never going to be able to be. And so I loved it as a game. It had a ton of I was able to play it with my friends and really get into it. After a while, I started really getting into the PvP.
Yep.
Which was awful. I was terrible at it, and my husband made me play Rumble. Is Rumble the one where it's
free for all?
Free for all, yeah. So he made me play Rumble until I was good.
That's terrible. Because Rumble, there'd be that one guy running around with a one-shot shotgun, just bang, and you have no chance.
So the deal was, though, I was good enough at taking control points and good enough that it was a crutch. Because I couldn't hit anybody. So I just, I would play these, control matches, and I would be on a winning team, but I wasn't enjoying it because I wasn't doing anything. So he made me play Rumble until I could kill people. And then I got good at killing people, and then I really liked killing people.
And that's when her dark side came in.
So I went into a crowded hospital.
Yeah.
No, back, pull it back.
Easy.
Wasn't good. It improved my gun.
No, I could see that. I love Destiny. I love the original game, but I love the original game. I played to a certain point before the first DLC even came out. I got so fed up with trying to grind and not getting any equipment especially after they nerfed the loot cave. That to me, I'm just like, well, I'm done now. So I stopped it, and then I waited all the way to the Taken King, which I think was the last DLC, until someone was like, oh hey, it finally got good again. So then I played all the DLCs in one fell swoop, and in that sense, it was great. But I feel like if I would have bought the DLCs individually, I would have not have had the same enjoyment as if I just sprinted through all of them.
I really struggled in watching, because the loot drops were so unequal.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So my husband and I would be in a fire team together, and we would have people that we play with, and we had people that we raided with. And I've done all of the raids numerous times.
I haven't done one yet, which is sad.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of the deal, right? Is that, sometimes it's really easy to forget when you're not, the majority of players. Majority of players don't complete raids. But we were, I guess, kind of intense Destiny players. In that sense, but
also you had a dedicated person you were playing with.
Yes, exactly. And we had a couple people that we could play with, and you could. I mean, we did a lot of FLG playing, just finding people online, and it worked shockingly well. And I ended up making some really good acquaintances through that, which is kind of cool. Typically, it would be an instant bonding moment if you were another girl.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
oh my god, you actually play, and you're not creepy.
It's like a needle in the haystack moment.
Yeah.
Thank you for not being weird.
Yeah, yay. But he would constantly get crappy loot drops, and his armor would suck, and he could never get his light level up, and it was just really frustrating and discouraging when you clear a raid 5 times and your light's no higher, and it's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, because when I did play with someone, it was a guy from work, we would be in the same strike team, or we would just be doing the I forget what the hell you called them, basically the dungeon rotator, where you just constantly queue up for different little strike forces, whatever they're called, and he would just he got I don't know 5 pink drops, which I think were the highest at the time, and before I even got my first blue, it was I have no idea how it balanced out or anything. It's the weirdest little thing. But yeah, I have hopes for Destiny 2. I ordered it purely just because I like the style of game. I missed that pulse pounding adrenaline, just oh shit moment, just hit buttons until everything dies or I die kind of thing. So that's really what I got it for, because I've been missing that kind of shooter, and especially considering this one's on PC was the main reason why I bought it.
I'm actually super excited to see it on PC. That is,
I'm very, very
amazing.
excited for it.
I never played Destiny because I haven't had a console since. I myself have never owned a console since the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
But there was the last console that I had experience with was the Wii. So, and which
is a fantastic console, and I will stand by that.
Yeah.
My 70-year-old parents have a Wii. They play it, and they get drunk and play it with their friends. I'm sorry, but you can get 70-year-olds
that is awesome.
Console.
Oh my god!
And it now it's kind of opening my parents up to getting an actual console and starting to play games like Forza. And my dad wants a racing chair.
Awesome. Now,
my mom wants one too.
Do they have Mario Kart for the Wii?
No,
for the Wii, yeah.
So they do.
Do they have it?
Yeah. Because if they like to drink in Wii, they should do drunk driving. It is the best college drinking video game I've ever. It's great.
I don't know that I could get them into it because my mom, I think that would be a bit too intense for my mom.
You have to chug it.
My dad likes
but it's
Forza.
So much fun.
But he likes the realism in that. I think racing games don't hold much appeal to them.
My dad,
except for emulators.
My dad and I played Gran Turismo 3 on PlayStation 2.
Wow, Gran Turismo.
That's 3. They're up to almost on 7 now. I don't know if they're gonna make it 7.
I can't believe they're still making the games. I forgot they were even making them.
I don't know. Maybe they aren't, but So going back to that, I have no experience with Destiny. I've never played it. I watched Alec play it. For a very brief session, and I really liked the speeder bikes that you ride around on. I was like, fun. Oh wow, I want that. And then I just realized I just want the speeder bikes from Star Wars. But anyway, so I'm probably gonna get it just for the sake of being able to play it with you guys, especially now that I know that you're getting it on PC, Scaly, because it's hey, let's.
Oh, yeah, I see. When Scaly gets it, I'll buy it. But when Brian gets it,
it's one of those games where I.
I think I shamed him so hard that his camera froze.
Shamed him into cutting out. That's
I play 8,000 games with you.
But when's the last time, Tom? When's the last time you did this? I'm just gonna turn my back. No, I'm not even gonna look. No.
3 weeks ago. No. But truthfully, though, the fact that it's coming to PC is obviously a deciding factor for me because I don't play anything really on anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Will I get it? Is it a guarantee? I don't know.
Well, like I said, you can safely wait till my review of it because I already have it, so I'm very interested in seeing what happens with it.
And I will definitely be getting it.
Absolutely.
Just not.
It's a good spot. Good spot to stop. So that would be our first little take there.
Oh, yep.
Okay, then we'll move into our actual news. But yeah, I can segue into that. Seems like everything went well. We had one little minor bandwidth thing without surprise. Yeah, that actually went surprisingly well. So, hurrah!
Hurrah! What's up, baby girl?
Alrighty. Everyone still good to keep going, or does anyone need a break?
Yeah.
Tom, you good?
Yep.
Okay. Recording. And with that, we'll get into our actual news pieces for this week. Very first one, big thing that dropped probably, late last week? Or early this week. I can't remember. The days kind of blend together. But the Mass Effect studio, or the studio, I should say, under Bioware, that's specifically for Mass Effect, I think it was at Bioware Toronto, is actually going on hiatus, specifically on any Mass Effect games. They are being repurposed into being more support for Square Enix and BioWare's upcoming combo game, or the game that they're co-oping on, and they're dual developing on, and just basically more BioWare support just for upcoming new releases. So it's kind of an interesting thing, especially Andromeda didn't have an amazing release, but didn't also have a terrible release. I don't know if they're just trying to, as they put it in their article, trying to revamp old IPs, or even just go into the direction of, just changing it up a bit. They feel like they've been handcuffed to Mass Effect for too long, so they're just repurposing it. So I'm interested to hear what everyone's opinion of this is, because for me, I feel like it might actually be a good move because I think they need to let Mass Effect lie for a little bit and just kind of like start from square one, see where they actually want to go with it. Because I know Andromeda was supposed to be a single launch title or a single entity as opposed to a trilogy. So I don't know. I'm not terribly disappointed in this. I mean, it might delay the next Mass Effect game if there's one that comes by a couple years, but at the same time, I would hate to see Mass Effect turn into something like Assassin's Creed, where I'm just, oh, here comes the next one. It's gonna suck as well. Woo!
Yeah.
But
yeah, I absolutely don't think there's anything really to be read into with this. I think that it's the game has kind of famously, even more so, bit by bit, a little bit of information gets leaked every day. It kind of had a bad or dodgy development cycle. And I even remember like a couple of like Bioware people that I followed on Twitter, as the game got closer and closer to release, they really were like, hey, shout out to the awesome team that's been slaving away at this game. Like, you could tell there was something like bubbling under the surface of like, a lot of work has gone into this game. So can we just appreciate that? Because holy crap. And, you know, like somewhat recently, a couple of days ago, there's been some stuff that's gone out online of them saying that the game underwent a massive scope change like halfway through. It was plagued with technical issues. And it's like, it really is. It's a miracle any game gets out ever of any size, AAA or indie. But when you're developing something with the scale of Mass Effect, you know, I give Bethesda games a pass all the time because I'm just like, there's so much that's going on. I don't care that piece of bread is clipping through that guy's foot. You know, I really don't care because there's so much that this game is doing. And I don't know. It's a constant discussion we've had on here, right? Yeah. Like No Man's Sky was such a huge thing of maybe that should have just gone out into early access and they could have ironed it out until it was at something that was more. Oh, the problem with No Man's Sky is it wasn't really it didn't feel complete. Mass Effect Andromeda feels complete. It just has its issues. I don't know. It's tricky.
Scaly, any thoughts?
I think they phoned in Andromeda right from day one. Bioware gave it to their B studio. Like Montreal studio has never been the studio. It's always been Edmonton. Edmonton's been the one that developed it previous to this.
That's true.
And so they decided for this brand new iteration that they were going to pass it off because they wanted Edmonton working on something new, which is cool. But if you're going to do that, have to be ready. And they tried to fix it by giving it back to Edmonton at the very last second. And I think it almost makes it even more disjointed because you get this feeling of they sort of try to fix some stuff, but they left it half done. And I think, like, you can't postpone a video game forever, but you also can't release a broken game. So Andromeda wasn't broken. It wasn't what people wanted or expected, I think, but it wasn't broken. No Man's Sky was broken. And you can't, like, at the moment where a game is unplayable, which it just was, like for a lot of people wouldn't even turn on, you can't sell that to someone for full price. Because no one is paying for a product and they expect the product to function. Even if it's not what you want, it has to work.
Exactly. I think that's exactly it. It's the game playable, but not your taste versus...
and those are very different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that was plague No Man's Sky. It was, I feel like at the start, I mean, it definitely was a lighter game in terms of content, but No Man's Sky never once really said it wasn't going to be exactly what it was. I feel like it was a lot of hype that people were led to believe that it was going to be this big, massive thing. And I really think it was more along the lines of as over a hype and like underinformed almost, where people got a game that they weren't, they didn't get what they expected, therefore they had a really negative opinion of the game. Like, I knew what I got going into it, and I knew I was probably going to have a harder time with it, but I still enjoyed the couple hours I put into it because I knew what I was getting. I know, Tom, you definitely loved it, but you kind of knew that going in. A lot of people I know about No Man's Sky... go on.
I loved No Man's Sky, but as usual, it was an incredibly niche thing. I loved, look at that weird-ass plant. I'm going to take pictures of it, Oh, wow, look at this animal. Wow, this planet's cool. I just like chill.
We'll give it a second to take a
This is a very exciting moment.
It's like a lazy season.
A little bit, kind of going back to what you were saying. I think there was a little bit of misinformation on the terms of the actual like advertising of it.
Yeah.
Like the actual pre-promotion from the studio for No Man's Sky. Yeah. And that was kind of where I was happy with the end product. I fully understand why they wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Why people wouldn't be.
When I remember talking to my husband about this quite a bit, it was a bit like the old like developer head for Fable, and I've forgotten his name now, but he was infamous.
Peter Molyneux?
Thank you, Peter. Peter was infamous for making these incredible statements. And my favorite quote is, you will drop an acorn and it will grow into a tree in the game. And you had to look at it, the statement, and go, it's not physically possible for this to be produced in this game. Like, it's just, there is no way. You don't have the technology.
Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. It's not a metaphor. It's a lie.
The same kind of applied to No Man's Sky with the promises that they were making and the statements they were saying that this game was going to have. They just weren't physically possible. And that doesn't excuse making those statements, just like it doesn't excuse, like, a huge developer who, like, for me, I hate when people... And I know you did it, and I don't hate you, but I do hate when people give Bethesda a pass because they're Bethesda. And they say, oh, well, it's a big game. No. Bethesda has millions of dollars to put towards these games, and they know what they are doing. They choose, and they're lazy because they know that modders will come out later and will fix their problems for free.
Yep.
And that is not...
I think that happened with Fallout 4.
It happened with Fallout. It happens with Skyrim. It happened... Like, they never bother fixing their games because someone else will. Mm-hmm. Which isn't right because there's plenty of people who are paying for that game. And when you pay for a game, you expect to get a not broken game.
Yeah, and especially considering a lot of these titles are multi-platform. I mean, I think it's fine for PC gamers just because a lot of times, like you said, we have access to mods. We have access to people that will dig into source code and fix the game, or like put in some type of mod that would fix the game. But if you get it on PS4 or Xbox One or any other kind of console, as soon as you start playing it, if you don't like what you have, you're kind of screwed. There's very little mod support.
Famously, our mutual friend Alec famously had his Skyrim was unplayable on the PS.
Literally, yeah.
And it wasn't until like the PS4 version that he could play it, and that was one of those kinds of things where it's like, if you do it on PC, you could just go into the registry and edit this kind of stuff, and it's like, but. That's no excuse,
Exactly.
So that kind of stuff, I absolutely agree. The game should be functional across the board. A huge problem that I have is my computer's processor, which, I'm milking an older processor, but a lot of games recently have been coming out completely not supporting it. And then when they see the massive amount of people that still use it, a month, 2 months after release, okay, we've now added support for it. Well, if you could do that now, why didn't you do that then? Yeah. Do you just assume, or...
Yeah, no one's going to use this now.
The reason I haven't, one of my most hyped games last year was Dishonored 2, and I still haven't played it yet because the excitement was so big when that was coming out. I was so ready. I was, I replayed the first one, I replayed the DLC. I was so ready, and then it came out with exactly that. You couldn't get past the title screen. And they fixed it, but I was like, nope, I'm sorry. I've moved on to other games that I'm in right now. And it's just like, it damaged my experience with the game because of that, even though it was too little too late. I'm sure I'll love it later, but.
No, definitely. I mean, it's still, it's funny how a bad release can sour ultimately a good game. And it's true though. I mean, there's lots of times, I mean, and Sega's like one of the more famous ones too, because all the Total War series, I mean, up through Total War Rome 2, Total War Rome, like people were loving CA, they were loving Sega, or not CA, they were loving Sega in general for the Total War franchise, and then they started going, oh hey, we have something here, let's just keep chugging them out, and they started doing like the Call of Duty syndrome, where they just started chugging out games that maybe not have been fully vetted, or maybe not even been fully thought out, but from Rome on, almost every single game had massively disappointing releases because of performance, content, quality, run issues, and even Total War Warhammer, which has gotten better only because they have actually let people start doing custom maps, but more to that to come. But even that had a lackluster. Even that had a lackluster start, and it's the same thing. I mean, if it's up to a community where, as you know, if gamers stopped purchasing, it would start reflecting on, okay, maybe we shouldn't do these things. But the problem is, good, bad, or indifferent, if people want a game, they're going to buy the game regardless. There's going to be something in the back of your mind that goes, you know what? They're going to learn this time. They've treated me right before. You know, it's like that ex that keeps on shunning you. Be like, no, this time they really mean it. I'm going to come back. No, they really mean they're sorry this time. And it's every single, you know what I mean? It's hard, and it's one of those things where it's, you know, it can't just be one person that writes like a really ranty article on Facebook one day and they're going to go, yeah, we're not going to do it anymore. You know, it's going to take a lot.
Vote with your wallet.
Exactly. And I don't know when it's going to actually trigger or if it ever will, but ultimately if we keep paying for crap, it's shame on them, but also we're kind of allowing it to happen.
Absolutely.
Even with Steam that does the rebates, even still, like, even people don't exactly use it all the time. But
I love who said it recently. Someone said that because you can do refunds on Steam. It was one of the developers on Prey. They were like, how come you haven't released a demo? And it's like, well, you could just play it for 2 hours, and if you don't like it, get a rebate. And it's like, that's basically a demo.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. Unless you...
I understand what you're saying, however...
Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that you still have to tie up $60, however many dollars,
that's gonna
download it.
I don't want to commit the money.
Yeah, it's just like... Because the off chance that Steam goes, nope, we don't think so, and you're kind of like, well, I guess I gotta stick with it now.
Right.
Oh. Now, moving on to some exciting things, and this is going to be interesting because we're actually going to dig into MMO territory here with a new MMO, not an old MMO. So this is uncharted waters as of late because the MMO genre has kind of very much died out, minus a few random Kickstarters that are floating around that...
And Star Wars The Old Republic, excuse me?
Yes, Tom, and Star Wars The Old Republic, which has been around for a couple years now. But... Wild West Online. So Wild West Online is just announced, and it's an interesting game because it's... I don't know. I guess this has been being asked for a long time, but I wasn't aware of it. Apparently, people who love Red Dead Redemption or anything along those lines have been asking for a game like this for forever. News to me. But this game is basically Red Dead Redemption online. It's you and... I forget exactly the scale at which they said. It was quite a long scale. And Scaly, if you want, you can actually just click the link as opposed to highlighting it. But it's... I forget the scale. It's like, you know, some...
That's a little inside baseball there.
Because, you know, some MMO games, they're sequenced to servers. They're segregated out. Like, you and... You know, it's a massive multiplayer game, but if only you and 10 other people can walk into this, you know, section of the map at any given time because it's segregated out to a server. Well,
like
Wild West Online is actually... much larger than that. You can actually have quite a bit of people on one map, on one server at any given time, live, you know, interacting with one another. And the main premise here, which it seems like it's primarily PvP focus, and if there is PvE, I'm assuming there might be, but they didn't really address it. Like, the main point of this game is that you either join the cops or you join the bad guys, and you play cops and robbers all day, every day. And that's the game. I guess that sounds cool in some ways. I mean,
I friggin' want this.
But see, but I don't understand. Like, what's the difference?
I'm into it.
But what's the difference between just that and playing U.S. versus Russian on Call of Duty? It's like I don't see the difference. It's just that when
it's a Wild West game. There are so few Wild West games, and even then, they're like Red Dead Redemption is console only. So I'm super into this. This has got me pants excited.
I like the old...
Should I say chaps excited?
I like the old, the little brief moment in time on console where, like, Wild West games were the big thing, like Red Dead Redemption,
Gun,
yeah, it was Gun. That was the other one. Those were great and all, and I loved them. I actually loved Gun more than I liked Red Dead Redemption. But at the same time, like, I just don't really see what... Minus the visual appeal of this, minus the niche genre of Wild Wild West... 6 shooters, horses, and like spurs, chaps, and like cowboy hats. Like, I'm not really sure.
Go on. Yes.
Like, I'm not sure, like, what else there is to get me hyped right now. And until I see something more about it, I feel like, is this going to be, yo, dude, you want to go pwn some noobs? Yeah, those guys suck. And it's just a bunch of guys on, like, voice chat screaming profanities.
Excuse me, it's yo, dude. It's yo, dude, you want to go pwn some noobs? Y'all. Like, that's the difference.
I'm so sorry. Like,
howdy, dudes.
You might be able to salvage this game if there's like a showdown mode where, like, if you have a beef with another player, you can challenge them. It's like high noon, and there's a moment where you're like, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Everyone runs into the house. Like, a tumbleweed goes by, and it's like, there's only this town.
I want to play as the tumbleweed. Is there a tumbleweed option in the character creator?
But, you know,
I'm drifter.
I'm trying to see, like, you know, I feel like this is going to suffer from the same thing as, like, Destiny did, but, like, even less so, because this is purely just, like, you want to just control the map. So it's, I don't know what the longevity of this game is, minus just the appeal of its PvP Wild Wild West.
I think, and I can't speak for the entire gaming community, but I think you're underestimating the appeal of a Wild West themed MMO. That's done well.
Well, that's the thing. Done well. What would you consider done well? Because for me, done well would mean it's like a functioning world where there's PvE, there's missions, there's some kind of like dungeon sequence or whatever else. There's end game. But you know what I mean?
Seem like an awful lot of orcs in this here dungeon.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't want just, like, purely PvE, and it sounded like, at least from the press release, what I read, it seemed like they're primarily focusing on a purely PvP MMO, which I'm not sure how those, like, meld together.
It's cops and robbers.
I don't know.
Cowboys and Indians.
Scaly, independent third party. Chime in. Go.
Break the tie.
I think that there's been... game genres are very cyclical. They just are. And right now we're kind of
World War II is coming back
of kind of those shooters and the space age and those sorts of things, and we're moving back into the desire for Wild West, and that is what people who grew up with Red Dead Redemption and that sort of game want to see again. So it certainly fits a niche. It's not my niche.
Well, the thing is, like, Red Dead Redemption was basically Grand Theft Auto in Wild Wild West. You had little side missions, you could travel to different places, you could own things. If you put that in Wild West Online, I would probably say, yeah, great, this is, you know, but the fact that you can do those things now with people, even better. And I hope that it turns out to be that way, because I would love that game. I would love...
That's what I'm expecting.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if I'm expecting that, yes, I'm excited. I'm just not sure to expect that from what I've read, ultimately. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would love that. I would love a game where you could just literally function as like, oh, hey, we can now claim this town and name whatever heck we want with it. We can name it like 2 Rattlesnake Gun City or something like that. And it's like, oh, we have a little placard on top of the town. You have like a little
2 Rattlesnake Guns
City. Yes.
This is a really bad idea.
But you know what I mean? Like that would be fun.
I can't handle guns that are also rattlesnakes.
Like, I'm just curious if they're gonna have like kind of like a control system. Like, oh my god, what was that one futuristic MMO way back when? There was like the Syndicate and like the Agency. It was a
Syndicate? No, I don't.
I forget what exactly it was, but like there was a control scheme, like where like when you logged on, when you created a character, you basically made good guys or bad guys, and they just constantly battled for map control along with all the MMO elements. I'm like hoping maybe it's something like that, but.
Turf War, that's all.
Yeah, basically.
I'm into it. I'm stoked. I'll be watching it.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what comes out of it. I'll be really interested to see like the very first like gameplay demo to actually see what it was like, because you know, I liked Red Dead Redemption for a little while. I still kind of bounced off of it. A lot of times for me, considering like there's you know, when you go into futuristic shooting, sometimes like the abilities or like the way a gun handles can be like sold by the fact that you're like, oh, it's futuristic now, we have things that make it better. But like when you have a classical game like Wild West, you know, 6 shooters and rifles were like inherently unreliable. They were inaccurate and all that other stuff. So it's like you have to work really hard to make something like that enjoyable as well as realistic to a player. You know what I mean?
I hope they learn from The Division.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because the Division had a huge problem with, we're an MMO or slash, PvE MMO in modern day New York City.
Yeah. No,
this guy takes 8,000 bullets to kill, and he's wearing a jacket. And that's like...
It's a Kevlar sweatshirt, don't you know? That's just how they work now.
The disconnect. So if you've got these, iron-skinned cowboys, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I do really hope that it's more of a realistic kind of lethality system where it's... Oh, you got shot in the foot. Well, you're going to die from lead poisoning now. Come on. Like, you got gangrene.
Congratulations, your account will be terminated in 15 days. Why?
You came up to a stream. Do you want to wait across? Oh no, you died of dysentery. Damn it.
You had a slight cut in your leg and it got infected. No.
But that's a really good point. I do really hope that it's it's you don't really have a health bar. It's purely just if you get shot in the head, you die. Like something like that. It would be actually
right. It's tough to make that fun, but it's
at the same time I would like it more.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, who all here likes Dark Souls? Well,
in case you do, and you're listening specifically, The Surge actually just came out. I think yesterday. Well, as of this recording, if you're listening in, it's in the past. So hey, it just came out, and so The Surge. We talked about this a little bit on the podcast a while ago. Was this at Gamescom like last year when we first started? I think
maybe.
Yeah, we originally talked about The Surge a while ago. And it looked really cool. It looked like this kind of open world in the sense of like Metroid, where like the whole world was available to you, but you had to constantly bounce back and forth after you achieved different, different missions, different items, and stuff like that to actually being able to access different parts of the map, kind of thing. But it's also very much it's sci-fi. It's really sci-fi Dark Souls is really the best way of saying it. It's the enemies are unique.
It's funny because I think it was Rock Paper Shotgun. Their review was like, "The Surge is..." No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not. It's a sci-fi Dark Souls. Okay, I did it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's so hard. It's so hard when you get a game that becomes a comparison point. For the longest time in like the late 90s, every first-person shooter was a Doom clone. Like, oh yeah, it's Doom, but World War II. What is it? It's called Call of Duty? I don't know. But it's like, before these genres, like Dark Souls hasn't really been, unless I could be mistaken, but I don't think Dark Souls is like a genre. Is it?
No, it's
a third-person action RPG.
It's basically an action RPG that tries to kill you. I mean, actively tries to kill you. I mean, it's an unforgiving... It's like one of the first games...
sadomasochistic RPG.
Something like Dark Souls to me is like almost in the same breath as like Ninja Gaiden way back when. I feel like Ninja Gaiden and Dark Souls are very similar in the fact that it was a combat system that was, you had to be skilled to get through the game because the game was not going to pull any punches. Dark Souls is the same way. Like you have
That's
to...
why I don't play it.
You have to learn the combat system. You have to know when to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge and all that other fun stuff. But it's The Surge is very much the same way. Combat is complex. Combat is difficult. This game is going to try to kill you, and you probably will die quite a bit. But they have some neat different little features that set it apart, but ultimately everyone's going to draw connections to Dark Souls. One of the things that mainly sets it apart is, if you see someone with loot that you want, as long as you don't target that item, like if that guy has a helmet that you want, as long as you don't kill him with a headshot, there's a good chance he'll drop the helmet. Like that's the thing. Like there's actually it's a visual indicator of what you want from a guy. And if they say you can get creative by how you do a finishing move or anything else, you could automatically proc it as opposed to a chance drop. You can make it into a guaranteed drop. So that's kind of cool. And that's really one of the things that brought this.
I always wanted that. I always wanted that with like with Skyrim. When you would loot an enemy, you would take their... More often than not, you took their armor, it would disappear from their body. But if you were playing a female character, you killed a male, enemy. It's he's got this full hide armor, it's a chainmail and stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll take that. And you put it on, it comes up to here, and you're just like,
what kind of mods were you using?
That's not the same armor that I took off of that guy.
But I completely agree. And like a wolf has like a helmet, chainmail, like a giant's toe, and like some
I want the wolf wearing the friggin' Dragonborn helmet. Just like, oh, I want that. Give me that. And where are you keeping these coins anyway? But carry on. The Surge.
Yeah. Scaly, have you ever gotten into any type of Dark Souls-esque type of games?
Nope.
Yeah, I think actually...
I play video games to have fun. It's not my kind of fun.
See, like...
I'm sure it's fun for people.
Occasionally, I like to play... Kind of there are games I do like to play because they're difficult, because I want that like sense of, I got it. But I tried Dark Souls. I tried Dark Souls more than once. Every time, like, I tried it once... I couldn't even kill the very first enemy I came across. Like, you got to the tutorial mission, you're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. The very first guy you come across is like a skeleton with a club, and you're like, I got this. He owned my ass for like an hour straight to the point where like, fuck it, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Just no, that's it. Screw this game. And then like a year later, people were like, man, remember how awesome Dark Souls was? I'm like, you know what? It was awesome. So let me go try and play it again. Same freaking thing. I still can't get past this stupid little goblin. And then you see people are like, I just beat Dark Souls on perfect with a turntable and a broken like banana. You're like, what the frick?
Yeah, I used a Donkey Kong bongo controller to defeat Dark Souls.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, I'm using a full keyboard and mouse or a controller, and I can't even dive. Like, oh, this sucks. Like, what is this? Mm-hmm. But...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm completely with Scaly. I play games to have fun. I want a slight challenge, but if I'm dying frequently and I can't like scale the difficulty back or something.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird, but if I die in a fun way or an entertaining way, I don't mind constantly dying because because it's like I want that fine line. I want the fine line of the fact that I feel like I could die at any given moment, but the fact that I got through it makes me feel like, aha, I could pat myself on the back. It's like, oh, this is a skill challenge. But no, I agree. Like, there's some games Go on.
My favorite difficult game is XCOM because even, the difficulty is, oh my God, I may lose my best sniper on this mission. And
yeah, that does suck.
For those who might not know, XCOM has permadeath, if you're playing it truthfully, you have permadeath, and so you've like leveled up your team, and you get a sniper that you're just like is really great, or you've got a grenadier who's like he's really awesome, he's got all these cool skills, and if they die, they're gone from your team. So you can start off your next mission and say, all right, I'll recruit a new sniper, but they're not as skilled. So it's not that you're constantly dying. It's that you now have experienced a setback, and any advantage you have is like, oh boy, how am I going to deal with this? It's going to be a lot harder now.
Yeah. And there's times
and so you set yourself to want to, I don't want this character to die, and that's hard.
That game has made me be such like a paranoid turtle of a player, especially because of that reason. Because anytime I'm like, oh, you know what, I have this perfect plan, and as soon as I move a guy like over a trash can, 5 monsters spawn. Murder him.
You trigger like an entire army,
and you're just like, well, there goes my guy. Like, okay, there's literally nothing I could have done because the very first time they appeared and they all got their free action, they murdered one guy. So it's just like after that, it's like you have 5 moves in order to beat this level. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the one I'm planning on, it'll take me about 20 turns to get there. You fail. Damn it! I should have saw this coming every time. But the Surge, it's actually getting above average reviews. It's getting about a 7 or 8 because obviously Dark Souls comparison, and I feel like very little is going to compare it to Dark Souls. But they're saying it's a fun game, but it's not perfect. Obviously there's flaws, there's performance flaws, there's very little of a campaign, but everything else about it is fun. So you got to kind of play that. I mean, if you want to play a game where you make your own fun, it's probably okay. But if you actually want like a very motivating, very engrossing storyline, probably not for you. Good spot to stop.
Yeah. A quality 7 out of 10.
Basically.
Right. So, yes, all right, I'm recording. I'm good.
Yeah. Scaly good?
Mm-hmm.
2 thumbs up. Yeah.
Okay.
Into a game that's definitely more our speed. Another big announcement this week. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 has finally been announced. It is a thing. It is happening. We are getting a second one. And Tom, I'm just going to let you take this because you'll do it far better justice than I will.
I love Lego Marvel Superheroes. This game came out of nowhere for me. Like I played Lego games as a kid. I was really big into Legos as a kid. But like Lego Island 2, Lego Creator, stuff like that. I didn't really play a lot of like the Lego Harry Potter or Lego Lord of the Rings, but I knew they were out there, and like it's like I appreciate what you're doing. You carry on, don't stop. And then Lego Marvel Superheroes actually had a demo, and that's always like an instant like, well, I'm at least gonna try it, because that's just one thing that I love to do. I love trying new games. And it was really fun. It took place around the time of the first Avengers film, so it had a lot of those scenes and moments in it. And then as I started to like uncover it, I was like, oh my God, this is like the entire Marvel superhero roster. Like I want to say there were 100 characters that you could unlock and play as with different skills.
Yeah, there's a ton.
And you basically, the crux of it is you have an open world New York City circa the Avengers film. So it was, functional Lego New York City, like a good size, lot of stuff going on, just little mini pickup missions. And it's like, okay, I'll play as Iron Man, so you can fly around and you shoot out little blue Lego bricks from your hands. Or I'll play as Spider-Man and you're swinging around. Or I'll play as the Hulk and you can pick up cars and smash them. And because it's a Lego game, the people are just like, oh no, my head. And they just put it back on and block. But in between, you had actual like linear story missions that you would do. And what was really cool is you would do it with a set, like there was a campaign. It'd be like, okay, Hawkeye and Wolverine are going to do this mission, and then okay, Iron Man and the Human Torch. Like it was doing matchups that you don't usually see. And as you unlocked characters, you would then go back to those story missions, and there were different. It was like a Metroid game. There were different things that you couldn't do before that you can now do. It's like, oh, I can now freeze this water because I'm Iceman, and oh, there's something over here. And so it was just like hours and hours and hours of fun. I 100% of that game, and I'm really excited to see this sequel, because there's been enough Marvel stuff that's happened that there's probably just going to be a series of new missions. The last thing that happened, I remember, once you finish the campaign, is it's like, hey, there's some guys coming down from the sky. Who's that? And it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and no one had seen them yet. Like the first film hadn't come out yet, and it was like, whoa, who are these guys? End credits. And so, like, to have a Lego game that might cover the Guardians of the Galaxy, that would be awesome. It's remarkably fun. Don't be put off by the fact that it's Lego. It's all ages, and it's funny, quirky.
Yeah, and I'll definitely say we know they're in them because the opening trailer has Groot in it, so at least some kind of Groot character in it. So we know they'll at least be in there. And I should definitely say, I'll echo Tom's point, because I was horrifically skeptical of any Lego game. I thought they were just like cutesy little things. I saw like one thing one time in like the Lego Star Wars where like Lego Darth Vader is looking at Luke, and he pulls out a Polaroid of like him and Luke's mother, and he goes
yeah, because they don't do dialogue, so it's like
yeah, he's just like and he's and then he falls off and everything else. So that was my winning.
Yeah, it's adorable, but it's.
So I sat there going, I'm just not even gonna bother. This is stupid. And then I heard you rave about it, and then rave about it, and then rave about it some more, and rave about it again, and be like, rave about it some more, and like, hey Tom, how's things are going? Lego Marvel, oh my god! I guess maybe I should check it out. And so I'm like, I got a super good deal. It's on a Steam sale or something. Like, I'll just buy it, just shut them up, and I'll just play it. So I'm just like, okay,
thank you,
you're welcome. This is our true friendship. But
yeah.
So I play it. I started it. I did the first tutorial level. I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is okay. I can see this. And then I started getting into the other characters. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I got the Hulk now. Okay, he can pick up stuff. He can throw things. He can smash things. Oh, this is fun. I got my first flying hero. I'm like, oh my god. And I didn't stop. That was the thing. I love these games. They are super cutesy, but at the same time, they had some of the most enjoyable action sequences that I've played, period.
They're just fun to play. Yeah, they're just fun.
The combat for being a child, an all-age friendly game, was surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
grabbing a guy with Spider-Man's web, flinging him around like a lasso, throwing him against another guy, seeing them explode into different Lego pieces, and it was just awesome. It was fun. Yeah,
I've been waiting for a good Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2, which was 15 years ago, and some time ago, and
in a galaxy far, far
so
away.
It was like, oh my god, this is the Spider-Man game I've been waiting for. But it's also the Iron Man game I never knew I wanted, the Captain America game I never knew I wanted, the Wolverine game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's so cool. Everyone has the skill set that you think they would have. Wolverine, use his claws, and Captain America, it's his shield and stuff like that. And they play differently from each other. There's co-op. There's local co-op.
Unfortunately,
that's unheard of.
I wish there was online co-op. That would have made this game. That definitely would have put this game over
the local co-op. Alec and I think he was playing as the Hulk and I was playing as the Hulkbuster Iron Man. And we made this game. We got on just this one random street in New York, and cars are constantly going by, and we would pick up cars and try and throw them at each other and see if we could get them to smash right in the middle. And it was so funny because it was just yes, New York is our playground. Everyone's like, what's going on? I just need to get to work. It's good, a truck. But it was fun. It was the kind of game that I would actually wake up in the morning and say, I can't wait to play more of that. And that's always a barometer of a good game for me.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I think
that's
whenever I can think about a game before I even get home, I know as soon as I get home, I'm not even going to bother eating. I'm just going to start playing. That's a good game. It's been a long time since I played a game like that. But that's exactly the sign of a good game. And I don't, Scaly, is this the type of game that you would find interesting? I don't know if you ever played any of the other Lego games.
I haven't, but I think I might now.
You definitely should. I
mean,
yeah.
It has 2 addicted to loot coins up. I guess that's the best way of saying it.
Ding, ding. Ding, ding.
Yeah, and it's coming out November 17th of November with a Switch version due in time for Christmas. So
decent.
If you
get it on the Switch then.
Yeah, absolutely.
What? Or you can just emulate the Switch version on PC.
That's not possible. You can't do that.
No, that's not a thing you can do. But it would be nice to justify my
I beg to differ.
Games on it.
Yeah.
Make myself feel
how is your experience with the Switch going?
It's a phenomenal handheld. I think if you look at it it's a really high-end handheld that connects easily to your monitor or TV, it's friggin' awesome. If you look at it as a console that's portable, it's it's kind of it's a lot like the Wii U in that it's very underpowered and very much so last-gen technology. So as a handheld, it's insane, super overpowered.
Yep.
It's gorgeous screen. It's just stunning. So I think it's all about what you're using it for. For me, it was I wanted to play Zelda, and I wanted a handheld. And the idea that on business trips, my husband or I can take one with us and play Minecraft. I'm that's it. I'm done. That's all I need.
Yeah.
In life.
The Switch. I was last weekend. I was hanging out with Alec and Regis. Regis, who we had on here just 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we all agreed that for us, the way that our lives are, the Switch is something that's come out just a little too late. Though, none of us commute to work or anything like that. But if I was on the school bus or before I was driving or anything like that, going on long drives with that, I know the battery life isn't the best, but you have car chargers and things like that. But all of that
long.
Yeah.
12
all
hours.
Of that aside, I thought it was it's 12 hours.
I don't know exactly, but ours was long. About
oh my
playing
god,
the game. We didn't. Yeah, I was pretty. I think it varies as part of the problem. Great. I think between each handheld, it can vary pretty significantly, and some people are getting significantly shorter. Ours has been great.
Regis said it was 3 hours, and I was like, ugh.
No.
Okay.
I can confidently say that
it would make sense. It'd be more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. You can also get battery packs that attach onto it pretty easily.
Right.
That just are portable as well.
that would have been like a dream system for me again, like 10-ish years ago, 10, 15 years ago. But at this point, like, I will say, if someone wants to play Breath of the Wild, it fully justifies a purchase of the Switch. Like, that game alone. But
if you...
Besides that, thoughts of a new Animal Crossing or similar, anything like that. But it's like, okay, I'm buying it for what may come out.
But if you were just going to buy it for Breath of the Wild, and let's say you had a PC, you still would purchase the Switch, even with...
Yep, I did.
Yep.
Good point.
Yep.
I just know that Tom has the side experience of being in this other world where you don't exactly need one. But...
No, it's worth it. I will heartily recommend a Switch for Breath of the Wild.
All right.
I do.
And
I stand by that.
All right. And on that bombshell, we'll move right along into our playlist for this week. And you know what? Scaly, I know your PC is kind of in the doctor right now. It's kind of in triage mode. But we talked a little bit about your streaming and stuff like that, specifically with the Rollout crew. How have you been feeling about, let's just say, this week's episode for Rollout? Because I know they record on Mondays.
Or like last week's.
Or last week's.
I had adult things happen this week. I actually missed it.
No.
I wasn't there for it. It was heartbreaking.
But how about, we'll go back previous weeks. How do you feel like everything's been going for Raw? Like, how have you been feeling with the Dragon Age stream?
I think it's phenomenal. It's for everybody in it now. We've got at least one kind of under our belts, and everybody's more comfortable with the Dragon Age universe. So our characters are a lot more developed. There's a lot of interpersonal interactions happening in the game. A lot of drama that happens, and we kind of like, it's just constant, and we feed off each other, and it's intense but really interesting. I'm like petrified at the moment because my character has got like a hard deadline before she's gone forever, i.e. 2 days.
Yeah.
And I think we're 1 day into that as of this past episode that I wasn't even there for.
I was completely stunned. Like, this last episode, there's for those unfamiliar with the Dragon Age universe, there's typically a rift between mages, which I would assume everyone knows what a mage is, wizard, and Templars, which are basically the religious self-appointed caretakers of the mages. I don't know how else to really describe them. And I use self-appointed in air quotes here. And there tends to be a pretty obvious rift between them. But Scaly, your character in particular is a mage, and there are two Templar characters. And there's an endless wellspring of drama of all sizes and shapes in that alone. But in this last episode in particular, there was a rift between like Thora and Iris and Tiernan and Arlen.
Yeah,
that I would not have expected.
Tiernan and Arlen being
like
the Templars.
The two Templars.
And Iris and Thora being two other party members.
Yeah, I mean, but when you think about it, it makes sense because neither Thora nor Iris are from Ferelden. They're not a part of that. They don't worship the Maker. They don't follow the Chantry. So they're not actually that exposed to or familiar with that dichotomy of the way the things work between Templars and mages. For Iris, it's because mages just exist with the tribe, and for Thora, they just don't exist.
Right.
So when you see someone being kind of treated the way that she's treated, they would never have been exposed to the dangers of a mage and what happens when things go bad.
Right.
Which then obviously they react to things much differently than Tiernan and Arlen, and then Tiernan and Arlen feel like they're being made into the bad guys when they haven't actually done anything wrong.
The one thing I've always loved about Dragon Age is in all three of the games, they've made pretty solid arguments for both parties.
Yes.
Definitely.
Which is key.
I feel like there's always been a chance where you're like, oh man, of course I sympathize with the mages. Oh, okay, Templars know what's up.
Our Chantry just blew up, didn't it?
Yeah, basically Dragon Age 2 is
buddy.
Dragon Age 2 is like a case study in like, oh, the mages, the poor mages. Oh shit. Oh,
yeah.
Anders, buddy, my guy, my dude.
why you got me like that? Yeah, so there's definitely, and it's all going to come to a head pretty soon. There is going to be conflict going forward between characters over what had happened and what came to light in the last episode, especially at the very end. I can say for sure.
Yeah, I do love that. I love that aspect, especially of the inter-character relationship of the stream. I mean, I love it. I've been part of a bunch of different role plays in the past. Unfortunately, none of them on stream, but it's like sometimes it gets bored when everyone's like on the level, like when everyone's like, "Oh, we're party members. We all love each other. Yay!" You know what? I'm not going to step on your toes. Just go do it. It's fun when everyone gets into the true role play spirit. You know, they actually stick to their guns. They don't care about hurting each other's feelings and everything else like that. And it does, the tension that brings. I mean, it's great to watch. I mean, I love watching it for that sense, for the true like between like inter-party like character development is so phenomenal. Like, a lot of people think like RPG streams or even just standard tabletop RPGs are just about character leveling, optimization, gaining items, just killing people, doing a bunch of rolls and stuff like that. But I say like that's missing out on like half the joy of what an RPG is supposed to be. I mean, that's it's great seeing everyone actually put on their character hat.
Putting the RP back in RPG.
Exactly.
We're also very careful too, like in the other one as well, the D&D one, there's quite a bit of conflict between characters there as well. And we're always very careful outside of the games to clarify with each other that it's okay. And that everybody's on the same page. And I think that's like, it's surprisingly important because it becomes very real very quickly. Like when you're having
absolutely
a fight and insulting someone and afterwards being like, I just want to clarify, I didn't actually think you were an asshole or an idiot. I said those things. I didn't mean them. Like, you were doing fine. Your character was making good decisions. My character just was reacting this way. Like, just to clear, because that
I sometimes am just like I'm watching you and Izzy, and I'm just like, are they like cool? Are they cool with each other? Like
1,000,000%. Like, Izzy is like one of my best friends, and like afterwards we'll talk for hours and laugh, and like it's just instantly, as soon as it's done, it's done. When it's on, it's on. When it's off, it's off.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so cool. No, as someone who dabbles in theater, I'm super into that. Like,
Izzy is like we all just bow down to that girl because, oh my god,
she is very skilled at the whole field.
Yeah,
her friggin' stance that she took last episode against that one chastened guard, I was just like, she's not giving Oz any quarter here. She's like, oh my god. That's cool. No, I'm here for it. I'm here for the boldness.
Well, definitely, if anyone wants to watch any of that, you can check out the Roll Forward Twitch, which is actually under Oz's... Roll out, Twitch. There's too many, like, every RPG has, like, roll in the title.
Yeah.
Or, like, they're all kind of similar now. But anyway, you can catch Roll Out on the Ozmills Twitch, right? I believe it's on Ozzy's Twitter. So it's twitch.tv/Ozmills.
Twitch/Ozmills.
Ozmills. And I believe the Dragon Age stream is on Mondays. What is it? Oh my god, like 10 to 12 GMP?
Depending on your local time zone.
Yeah. I forget exactly the time. But...
I know it starts at 4 o'clock here.
I was going to say 4 p.m. Eastern is usually
so you can base it off of that, but it's 4 p.m. EST. And what time do you guys usually do the D&D stream?
That is 3:30 Eastern on Thursday.
And there you go. Highly recommend it. If not,
and we also host it here.
Yeah, that's true. If you're subscribed here, you can always we auto host it. So hey, either way, we have multiple ways of covering you. And I definitely, even if not, you want to catch up into it, they have all their videos for free. If you just go into Ozzy's videos, you can catch up from the beginning. It's great. They go by real quick. Trust me, you can binge watch them pretty quick.
And the D&D
is a recommendation.
Say that again?
The D&D is on YouTube.
Boom.
Dragon Age will eventually be up there once there's time, but...
Yeah, YouTube is weird right now, specifically.
Sure.
Tom, are you going to have anything to add, or are you good?
Oh, I was going to say I recommend if they if you play appropriate sound effects for the environment that they're in, it adds to the experience.
So this is what I mean.
If you also have a good playlist of.
This is why I like watching Tom play games, is he will do this. Like, that's the thing. He will finally, like, okay, hold on. You know what? Pause the game. What are you doing? I need to find the right sound effects. I need to get the right ambiance for the scene, okay? To shut up for a second.
Last time we were playing Star Citizen, and I basically queued up my own awesome mix volume. Kind of playlist, and I was like, okay, we're gonna listen to music from high school while we're cruising through space, shooting space.
This is exactly what this calls for. So this is what we need. Okay.
It's good. It's great. I got to shoot the gun to the rhythm and stuff like that. It's fun.
Welcome to my world.
So playlist.
Moving on. So we'll get into our playlists. So I covered mine last week. I was in almost all indie games last week, which I was surprising. I was trying to carry the Tomality flag along in his absence. But I've actually jumped back into the AAA games this week. I was just gonna try a few things out. Specifically, I was toying around with them on Twitch streams. I was Twitch streaming all Saturday, trying to see which vein would strike oil. No, they were all dry this week, but I had fun anyway. So, like, one of the first ones I did is I turned on Prison Architect, which was a game that I bought off of the Humble Store, which I highly recommend for people. You could always use Green Man Gaming through our Green Man Gaming content partnership down below. But also, the Humble Store is an amazing spot, and they're one of their big spring sales is going on right now. I got, I think 5 older AAA launch games for like $15 or something like that. Yeah, it was a great buy. I'll just tell you like that. So I was playing Prison Architect just for a while because I haven't played a good like simulator game in a while. Like a good like Sim City, RimWorld kind of game where you build things and you watch your little peons.
Oh, I want to play RimWorld.
I really want to play RimWorld. It is like top of my list. Like it is up there.
Yeah.
I'm just slowly waiting for it to go on a bigger sale. But I just like building things, being that benevolent or malevolent god, and just like, oh, we need a dining room table.
I like that, benevolent or malevolent.
You always start as one and end up as the other.
So it's like, oh, you give them all the things, and you're like, I'm hungry. Here's some food. I'm still hungry. Eat the freaking food. I'm still hungry. Okay, you're getting locked in the dungeon. I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna watch you until you learn your lesson. Like, exactly.
Did you mean The Sims? Look at my happy little family.
So I started playing Prison Architect. I started doing the campaign because I feel like you always do the campaign just to learn the different ways of the game. And it's a surprisingly well-rounded simulator, considering I think it started out as either an itch game or as like some guy's random little project somewhere. It actually is a pretty good full title. I do like it a lot. It has some very interesting mechanics with it, specifically trying to you try to care for your prisoners, but you also try to make sure that they don't get out of line. It's like this weird little balancing system. You're like, we want TVs. Okay, here's your TV.
This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Exactly. Like, even it's like, okay, so I can either give them TVs or I can put a guard at their cell to beat them whenever they come back in to make sure they don't steal a spoon or something. It's just like
the tough choices in
exactly.
life.
It's like you really don't know how to balance it out. It's kind of fun. And I know another cool thing with Prison Architect, I haven't played with it yet, but they also have an add-on or at least like a mod that you can actually, or maybe it's a DLC or something like that you actually become a prisoner in a randomly generated prison, and you have to try to figure out a way to break out. I love that little.
That was a pretty recent thing that they've done.
Yeah, it's such a cool little game mode. I watched a few other YouTubers and Twitch streamers play it. It's just fun to watch. Like, you can dig your way out. You can start a riot. You can sneak out with a box or something stupid. You can just start a fire and run out through the flames. I don't know. It's
Metal
it's a cool
Gear Solid
game.
Music playing in the background.
Yeah, you can put a box. You can walk. Stop. Bring. And then walk away. But yeah, I thought
my whole room
cool
moved when I did that.
But if anyone who ever thought about getting Prison Architect, I think it's like less than a couple bucks now on the Humble sale. I would say if you ever thought about it, go check it out. I thought it was really, really cool. Now, a bigger one I did covered for most of my stream just because I didn't know it got updated, and it just blew my mind. So Total War Warhammer, actually, they did get, there's always been mod support. It has tons of mods, but they actually just recently released custom maps. It's probably, and I say recently, it's probably like a month or two since they've provided the capability. But I was looking at the workshop list, and you actually can do mods now that replaces all of the actual maps on the grand campaign. Because usually a custom map is like, oh, you can only do it on multiplayer. No, people have made custom maps for every single settlement across the entire map. I'm just like, okay, well, check this out. So I accepted all the mods. I put them all in. I installed them. I made a brand new campaign playing as the Great White Dwarf of the North. I don't know if anyone knows Warhammer Fantasy Canon, but it's up near Norsk, the very
I wish I did.
Basically right below the Chaos Waste in the very northern part of the map and I'm just like, the very first map I did was because it's like the starting when you start a campaign, there's always like one or two gimme settlements right next to you that you can either go to get money from, or you can just easily conquer. They have like one guy with a straw hat and like a bent pitchfork defending it, and you start out with like 15 unit army roster, and he's just like, I'm gonna defend my land. Okay, you can just take it, but it's just like,
get off my lawn.
And this, okay, I guess you guys can have it. But like literally the very first map I started up on, I'm like, the deployment alone gave it away. I'm like, oh,
it's like the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. So one guy.
Well, because like in the one thing that I hate about Total War Warhammer was specifically the sieges, which is all settlement and city battles. And the best thing about this, the minimap one, is that usually you had to get a minor settlement up to level 3 before you even had a landscape or cityscape battle. This one, from base level, everything has a like artistic settlement look to it. So the very first one I did, what are you doing? What are you?
I've been playing with a twist tie this whole episode. I made a little dude, and I'm getting attached to him. Carry on.
So, like, the very first map, I started up, and it was, like, a 3-tier settlement with, like, 1 or 2, like, little gate openings, and, like, there's just tons of different little, like, peasant houses and everything. It had this whole aesthetic to it. Like, it looked like a little chaos settlement, which it was this cool little thing. I pulled a Tom. I literally spent 5 or 10 minutes zooming in on different parts of the map, just going, look at this shit, look at it, this here now, and like,
look at the masonry on this structure.
Because I'm like, oh my god, it wasn't there before. Everything was kind of vanilla. It was blasé. It was just kind of like, the Total War police would have to come and be like, this sucks. I mean, it was just very lackluster. This actually gives this game the life it should have had upon release. If they would have given me this game upon release, my review of this game would have been completely and utterly different. Now, like,
really? So, like, the aesthetic value was
because here's the thing. Because this is my biggest gripe. Like, Total War Warhammer, or Total War in general, regardless, has always been grand scale. Especially in Rome 2. Any of the historical titles, the maps have been massive. Like, it looks like you're actually you're actually taking over Rome at the height of its heyday. Like, it's this massive city that you just cannot defend because there's just too many parts of it and all the other stuff. You get to Total War Warhammer, and it's just like, oh, well, there's a wall. Fight for the wall, I guess. And it takes you all of like 10 minutes to do, when before, like, an actual historical battle in any one of the previous ones in these grand scale maps could last you almost an hour. And it was just like, you might not have like to do it every single battle, but occasionally you're like, I want that epic feel of this like historical epic siege. And Total War Warhammer is missing that. These custom maps actually allow you to have that now. I mean, they actually took the major settlements and turned them into what we would believe them to be, if someone from Sega actually made the damn thing initially upon release. So it's really cool, and yeah, I will stick to my guns on that one. But anyone who has it, or anyone who's had it and maybe never installed it, wink wink, nudge nudge, Mr. I'm playing with my little twist tie guy over there. But this game,
I love Total War.
These custom maps, especially the ones for the campaign alone, would make me now change my recommendation to, I would recommend this game to everyone now. Like, I love what they did with these custom maps, and it's nothing to do with Sega. It's all the people who managed to put mod all these things in. So, thank you, whoever did that.
Kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. So, thank you for whoever did that, and I really loved it. It was amazing. Well, thank you, Eat My... Oh my god. That's a great name. I don't know if I want to say it. Eat My Foreskins 2. Thank you for the follow.
Solid.
Yep, solid name. But Yeah, it was really great. I'm definitely gonna play it more. I always loved Warhammer. I love Total War, so I'm glad that this now makes it a little bit more exciting. So I probably will Twitch streaming that campaign a little bit more because I love dwarves. But anyway, moving right along. Final game, and I'll make this a little bit quicker just because I know, well, we're running on time.
It's a virus.
See, Scaly, this is what I do. This is the stream. This is why we have two sides. We have two different sides of the OBS stream. We have left side, we have right side.
It's
we have
legitimately like, here's this really insightful conversation about this game and how it's improved. I made a thing.
This is why we work. This is
look at the thing.
This is the milkshake that brings all the boys to the yard. This is exactly what it is. This is the left brain, right brain thing. This is why we
tag yourself. I'm the milkshake. What else have you been playing, Brian?
My final thing is I actually, we both covered how much we love HOTS. Heroes of the Storm. Tom has never been a big MOBA player, but he loved Heroes of the Storm, and we were playing it for quite a bit of time. It's
the only MOBA I like.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to a point in time where we got a little bit dried on it, but then they made this big, huge update, HOTS 2.0, where they made it actually a little bit more like Overwatch in the sense that leveling up goes quicker. There's actually loot chests now. You don't have to specifically, nothing is behind a money barrier now. It's all chance drops with loots. And I'm like, you know what? I'll start this thing up. I will try it again.
Nothing was really behind a money barrier, but it was like if you wanted a cosmetic, you had to more or less pay money. And basically, it wasn't like game.
There were some like ultra skins that you had to pay like a couple of dollars for, which I thought. But either way, HOTS 2.0. Oh my god, this game is even more enjoyable now. Like, I had a field day with this. Like, because when I first started up, we had built-in profile levels because we already played so much with it. So, based on your experience or how much game time you've logged, they instantly started you out with X amount of loot chests. I'm like, okay, well, let's just try this out. By the time I opened up the last loot chest, I was giddy as a schoolgirl going, oh my god, I want the next one, I want the next one, I want the next one. And then it finally opened up, I'm like, oh, now I need to play for more.
Blizzard has always been good at that.
So it's just like, then I did all my daily quests, and every time I completed one of them, another loot chest, and it's just like, it was like this great little system, and like, everything is like flashier and like cleaner, and like anytime you level up, like the numbers click up faster now, the numbers get bigger, and like your bar moves
the leveling
quicker.
up between the ratio between levels now, it used to really jump up like around 5 to 6, and it's like it's nothing now.
But yeah, no, I would highly recommend this, Tom. You need to get back into this thing because 2.0, it's where it's at. If you don't like MOBAs, try Heroes of the Storm 2.0. It is a lot of fun. I will gladly walk anyone through it who wants to actually learn. So I will finish on that.
Play with bots, because it's even fun just playing single player with bots.
Did you make a sword now?
I did.
How about you tell us about what you've been playing, Tom? I'm gonna see what I can make over here.
It's so funny because I've been quite busy. Like, even after getting back from Canada, I've been doing stuff related to that, and as such, I haven't really played anything like at all. So I've just hopped through a couple of. Is that an iron?
It was.
Oh, the irony. So I've been hopping through a few.
That was. This is the longest we've ever went without a pun on this cast. So
I don't know, pretty pun believable. I've been playing a few itch games and demos, and really weird for me, but a lot of them I bounced off of, like, that's not really catching me, or that wasn't catching me, or that didn't catch me. But one that did was something called Minotaur, which was basically, it's like those visual novel games mixed with a point-and-click adventure game. But for the past 3 weeks, I've been really getting into Ghost in the Shell. Like, I've been rewatching the anime. I had only watched, like, standalone Complex Second Gig, like, when it was on Adult Swim, and I just knew fuck all what was going on. I was just like, this looks cool. I don't know. Ghost in the Shell is very cyberpunk, maybe post-cyberpunk, because it's like, it's not cyberpunk grunge, it's the clean kind. A lot of people say that Deus Ex is like the closest you get to a Ghost in the Shell kind of feel. Augmentations and things like that. And I've been thinking, like, boy, it'd be really cool to have a game, and there haven't been really any good ones. There were some years ago. There's I think there's an FPS, like a competitive FPS version right now, but it's and then I was playing this game Minotaur. I thought this is what it should be. It should be a point-and-click visual novel because it's got the sense of being in the that kind of atmosphere. Ghost in the Shell is a lot of mystery solving almost, and that's what's going on here. This was like a 1-hour demo for this game. Lightweight puzzling. The visual novel elements were just, if you've never played one of those, it's like illustration of a guy, dialogue, illustration of the guy going like this, dialogue. And it all depends on if the story's good or not. But it was cool. I liked it. It's a free demo. Go check it out. It made me interested in what the full game will be like. But it basically just made me say, I want a Ghost in the Shell game like this. So get on that, developers. But that's Minotaur. It was cool. I liked it. I liked it a lot. That's really all I have to say about it because everything else I played, I didn't like a lot. Oh, I signed back into Star Wars The Old Republic for 5 minutes because the Ewok companion was on sale. So I was like, I gotta get that. So, and then I was literally in it just long enough to like go to the, go from my wherever I had left off to the like player market inventory kind of thing. I was like, I missed this game. So I immediately uninstalled it because I was like, I'm going to just start playing this again. But that's it. I'm eager to get back into Andromeda. I want to finish Andromeda. I'm eager to get back into Breath of the Wild. I'm never going to finish that. And I'm eager to get back into Ghost Recon because there's been some expansions and DLC for that. So it'll be fun.
Definitely. How about you roll right into that Fregatua?
All right. This week's free game of the week, which is a free game that we have for you guys that we have specifically handpicked and said, we think this might be fun. This week it's freestyle football, which is football in the international sense, so soccer. And it's a, with the NBA playgrounds coming out, I've been in the mood for like some big kind of colorful sports games. This is a little bit more realistic than not, but it's a 4v4, excuse me, soccer game. You create a character and you just play these really, brief condensed versions of soccer matches, but it's fun. I think even if you're not into soccer, but into that kind of, into sport gaming, you'd have fun with it. Again, free, so hard to argue. It's colorful. Characters kind of have this like sort of anime look to them. It's interesting, like that's 3D anime look. It's fun. You can play versus bots. You can play versus people. You can do what you want. You can be antisocial. You can do whatever you like. So that's my kind of game. But that's freestyle football. As always, we will link that on our website when this goes onto our website.
Which is addictedtoloot.com. From there, you can get everything, including our email, which is addictedtoloot@gmail.com. You can get links to our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, links to our audio versions of this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can catch our individual Twitters as well as our group Twitter. Our group Twitter is Addicted to Loot, that is the number 2. My personal Twitter, which I have updated. I am no longer at 5th Atomic Zero. I am at ATL _Atomic Zero. So that is at Addicted to Loot, abbreviated _Atomic Zero. Tom is at Tomality, TOMALITY. And of course, the lovely, the beautiful, thank you for joining us, ScalySquash, at ScalySquash50. And you can catch her on Rollout, but also she has her own Twitch, which should be up and running sometime soon, hopefully. So that is also at twitch.tv/ScalySquash50.
I like to think that there's 49 other Scaly Squashes out there somewhere.
And are you
Someday
Alpha
Scaly
have
Squash.
a convention and meet, and it'll be amazing.
If you
Scaly
do that,
Con.
we will live Twitch stream that reunion.
That's it. I need a Scaly Con.
I won't be there. I'll be dressed up. I'll be like, I've dressed up as ScalySquash27, my favorite iteration.
Right?
You can ScalySquash cosplay. Oh my god. But
until just a bunch of middle-aged men.
But that's it. Like, I picture them all being like old balding men, and
just like wearing like your typical clothes.
How did you get your name? Well, I was 42 when I made it. I'm bald and my head is squishy.
You show up and they're like, that's all right.
It's not the best Scaly Squash I've seen.
I mean, you look like you tried.
Island.
Yeah.
You're no longer top
Oh my god, I would go to ScalyCon. But definitely, yes, Scaly, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to do this. And also, secondary shout out to Scaly because I got to see her in person when I was in Canada. So that was a like, oh my god, you're a real human. So that was great. And thank you for that too. That was awesome. So we have been addicted to loot.
And until then, Tom.
Oh, keep it Scaly.
And